Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is me, your old pal Orpheus, with another edition of Orpheus Plays. Here, playing Blade and Sorcery, my favorite game in the world, and it's the only game where this dagger can swim around like a fish. Well, this is odd. Anyway, it's the only game where you're here in medieval times, and when you wreck carnage, the whole thing with FEMA doesn't happen. Just a whole bunch of I have no idea what's going on here. Is this a tuna? Are we looking at an angry tuna? This is like Harry Potter stuff right here. Okay, there we go. Okay, wait. No, stop. Anyway, I hope you're doing well wherever you are today in the world. Oh my gosh, I have no idea what just happened there. Anyway, hope you're doing great, whether it's day or night, or you're trying to wonder why your blades are magically flying around by themselves. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. It's another great day for some carnage and mayhem here on Blade and Sorcery, and I've started to slip back into that radio voice, but don't worry about that. We'll let that slide. So today we're not playing survival mode. We're playing Circle of Death. That's a mode where a bunch of people come out, and it's kind of like a movie-style fight. They'll come out they'll come out in a group, but only one of them will attack me at any given time. So we'll see how we do here, and we'll start things off. Yeah, so let's see. We're in the ruins today. This is a map that normally is kind of tough to... Oh, geez. Kind of tough... Wait a minute, I didn't do my first traditional slow motion kill. It's kind of tough to be in this one because it's a little dreary, right? It's a little kind of like the ruins in some place. There, let's kick things off. First traditional slow motion kill of the day. Come on, here we go. Is there anyone behind me? No. Okay. She's not gonna. Yes, someone's coming this way. Oh no! Come on, hurry this stuff up. We gotta get going. There we go. That was kind of cheap. No, none for you, sir. And one arm gone. We're gonna keep going with the slow-mo. Yeah, one arm gone. Yeah, it was the one-armed man. Oh, another one-armed man right there. Anyway, that was a nice little mess to start things off with. Let's get that going. A little extra Temple of Doom action going on. You know, speaking of that, I was just looking in the news the other day, and there was apparently another Egyptian tomb that they had unearthed, which is amazing. I've been a fan of Egyptian stuff since I was, I don't even know how long. Like, as long as I can remember. I always wanted to be an Egyptologist. No, but seriously, like, when I was growing up, my folks had, they had already been traveling everywhere. Like, in the Middle East and throughout, places like Egypt, of course. And, one of the things they brought home a lot of was, like, artifacts. Not like museum artifacts. It belongs in a museum, nothing like that. But, like little replica artifacts that you would get places. They had a lot of, like, like brassware. Like, Middle Eastern brassware is a big thing. It used to be, at least, back in, like, the 60s and 70s. Like, it was all the rage. And my folks had a lot of that stuff in the house. And what they also had was a bunch of, like, the tour books that you get when you go to different Egyptian, like, sites. Like, the traditional historic sites, right? And so they had books on the tomb of Tutankhamun, or Tutankhamun, however you want to say it, it's up to you. And, all of the treasures that were in there, places like Giza, the Sphinx, all these places, museum books, those really nice museum books. They have the big glossy photos in them and everything. There was, from the Tutankhamun or, Tutankhamun, again, up to you how you want to say that. Like full catalogs, the story of Carter, one of the guys that discovered it, how they discovered it, everything that was going on with it, and it just fascinated me absolutely. Like it was something that always, I don't know, like that, and combined with like Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was definitely a thing when I was growing up, right? It was one of the most popular movies when I was, growing up. And so what that meant is, like, everyone was into the whole archaeology thing. Ooh, archaeology. I even I even at one point had a kind of like an Indiana Jones like outfit, right? I had the boots, and I had the fedora, and oh geez, no, not this again. No, okay, fine. Wow, accidental. So I had like the boots and the fedora and the whip and everything. I constantly was giving myself like big old like tears and cuts from the whip going crack, you know, like jeez. Anyway, so it was something that I was always really into. Now, Egypt is one of the places that I've never gone to, and I always wanted to, right? Well, so when I was growing up, it was a little bit later on. Boy, I had to be like, no, not later on. It was like 5 or 6. I had to be around there because we went to Toronto. There was a big exhibition of the King Tut exhibit. And it had like all the stuff that was in the tomb. It had all this. Do I not have anything in there? Ooh, no, I need a weapon. Let's grab a weapon. But it was all the stuff that was in the tombs. It was all the stuff that was in the, the outside area. Some of the stuff in the Valley of Kings and everything. And amazing stuff. I remember that when you think of King Tut, you immediately think of one thing. It's that mask, right? It's that big gold mask with the blue inlays and everything like that. Well, so that thing was in a glass case, and that was like the jewel in the crown of this museum thing. Here, have a brain. Have a brain. There you go. It was like the jewel in the crown of this exhibition. And I remember very clearly seeing that thing and being absolutely amazed by it. But then at some point, we were staying in a it was in a hotel, and a really big like convention center hotel. And my folks, I don't know, they got on an elevator or something, and I got separated from them. And I remember the next, quite literally, 6 hours, because this thing was crammed full of people. I remember for the next 6 hours, I was going up and down that elevator. I was looking for my folks. I was basically losing my crap everywhere I was going because I was so freaked out. There had to be some other stuff that happened to me that I'm like blocking out, because here's the thing. I have a few recurring nightmares, and I take medication to get rid of nightmares. It doesn't get rid of your dreaming, it just makes it so your body doesn't process it like actual like your body has a hard time, your brain has a hard time differentiating between dream and reality sometimes. And that's why deja vu happens. You feel, I've lived through this. Now you've probably dreamed something similar to it. But anyway, so I take meds for getting rid of nightmares. And though the thing is, I take it before bedtime. And so it kind of, throughout the night, it wears off slowly to the point where in the morning, like the last hour or so that I'm asleep in the morning, it kind of wears off enough that I have some dreams. So one of the ones that I have constantly is I'm in a giant hotel. It's always a giant hotel. Something like, a convention center type thing. There are rooms everywhere. There are stairs and like corridors and everything that are basically endless. I get stuck, I get confused, I get freaked out. There's groups of people from various times in my life, depending upon where I am and who I'm near. It's just, I get lost all the time. And when I get that dream, that's one of the major ones that I have pretty often. And I just, it leaves me feeling so freaked out. Like, so absolutely freaked out, it's incredible. Wow, I hear something outside. I'm sorry for that. It sounds like there's a music group playing outside, which would be awkward. I don't know what that was. I thought it was a fight for a second. Anyway, sorry about that. But like, I always have this reoccurring dream. I would call it a nightmare because I wake up feeling like absolute like hell. I feel lost, you know, and I think it's directly because of that time that I got lost in that hotel convention center. Actually, I'm pretty sure, because that scarred me pretty bad. It took me about 6 months to calm down from that, you know. Like, I'm mildly autistic, so things that normal people, people that don't have autism or other, like, brain things like that, may not take something like that as traumatically as someone else who does have some sort of I'm not going to say disorder again, I'm going to say condition. It can be harsh to go through some, you know, especially when you're young, to go through an experience like that. And so I think that's what was going on. But there was, for some reason, this huge thing for Egypt when I was growing up. It wasn't just me, right? It was everything. It was in society, man. Like, not just things like the original Mummy movie, but that came later. Part of what I'm talking about is, like, everyone was so into Egyptology, and that's been a thing since, boy, the late 1800s. There were things that were called mummy parties or unwrap parties, where rich people would buy a mummy. Like, someone would go and find a mummy in the sarcophagus and everything, and the rich people would get together and have a little cocktail party. And they would like unwrap this mummy a little bit at a time, and, like, you know, take bets on what was going to be. There you go. Does it taste good? I know it did. They would have, you know, take bets on things, and they would give away, like, so most Egyptian mummification processes, when they do wraps, like most of them, they will wrap like little trinkets, little good luck charms and things into the wrappings. Here you go, buddy. They would put little like charms and trinkets, usually made out of gold with some sort of like precious stones in it and stuff, and they would, you know, they were bound in different parts of the wraps, and so they would give away these little things to people. It was all the rage. It was all so hip and chic and everything, and it was part of what kind of ruined a little bit of Egyptian culture for people. Those kinds of parties have been, like, called almost barbaric now by the Egyptian like government and people, and it's incredible because, like, my whole life there were always these like like these specials, these documentaries, but they were almost like David Copperfield type things. If you've ever seen one of those televised magic shows, right, where they'll make the Statue of Liberty disappear. That was the one that was that. Yeah, I think that was David Copperfield. Anyway, so I got an interesting story about him at some point. Anyway, so they would have these, like, TV specials. Oh no, Pink Mist for the win. And they would always be like, oh, we're going into the Great Pyramid, and we've got this special robot, this special, like, radio controlled robot that will go in and will go into this narrow passageway, and it's got a light attached to it. Now you got to realize, when some of these were going on, this technology was like, people were like, ooh, that's amazing, right? Well, nowadays, I mean, of course they would send, like, a drone or something in there, but at this point it was like, you know, oh, we're gonna send in this thing. And they would tell you, they'd do this whole history of how the pyramid they think was built and everything like that. They would have interviews with people, like the minister of antiquities in Egypt, who, by the way, for a long time, some of you that might be into Egyptology or any of that stuff might know the name Zahi Hawass. I don't like that man. He's very arrogant and thinks that Egypt's treasures are his to guard. And it's like, bro, calm down. I think he snorted a little bit too much of his own Kool-Aid when he started getting on TV. Anyway, he would be there and they'd have interviews where he'd talk about, like, how amazing the the pyramids are, and blah, blah, blah. And like the whole time, it's like, an hour-long thing. And they'd keep cutting back to this live shot of someone in the pyramid with a technician. And they're like, we're slowly getting into the hidden passageway, and it's so exciting. We don't know what's beyond this. And I mean, you already know what's going to happen with this, right? Absolutely nothing. Like it was just a dusty room full of rocks. It's like, oh no. There you go, bar fight time. Oh wait, we'll do one in slow motion. We'll smash her off of here with this. Oh, that has to suck. There's a little bit of smash action for you too. Whee! But yeah, oh man, the specials and everything, it got us all so excited. And I've always said if we get a little bit of cash together to take a vacation, I kind of want to go to Egypt. The problem is now it's become like this. They know that it's all the rage, and there are so many people there that just take advantage of people. Like, okay, here's something that's really funny. You'll like this. So when you go to the Great Pyramids, there are all sorts of buskers, right? There are people that are selling wares and they're doing tours, and you can ride a horse around. And one of the popular things, there you go. One of the popular things to do is take a camel ride, right? They're saying, traditional Egyptian camel rides, just, $10 or whatever for 20 minutes. And you see all these people that are like, on Instagram saying, look, I got a traditional camel ride, just like they did back then. Real quick, camels didn't exist in Egypt. just so you're all aware, what? Camels did not exist in Egypt, so at least during Egyptian times, they did not. That was not a thing. So enjoy that. It's like going to Disney World and saying this is the traditional, I don't know, Mickey Mouse ears from the 1800s or something. Anyway, yeah. So there was that. When I was growing up, I used to be into. I guess it would be called. I'm still into it. I guess it would be called electro. Right, electro music, which was a specific kind of. It's hard to describe what it was. Like the one that I'm specifically referencing is called Egypt or Egyptian Lover, and groups like Jammy Jams and all that stuff. And, like one of the big songs, like I said, is Egyptian Lover, or otherwise known as Egypt, and. Man, my brother and I were the whitest white kids in town when it came to listening. We were all into funk and electro and stuff, mostly because of the time that we spent in London, right? Electro music was really big in the 80s and early 90s over in the UK. And so I think we picked up a lot of that over there. I'm not really sure. Like, I was so into, I'm still into, like, really, really deep funk from, like, the 80s and 70s and stuff. I love disco music and all that. Then again, I love most music now that I think about it. So that's kind of like unfair to single something out. I love just about everything. Except there are a couple types of music that I just despise. I won't go into them right now, but there are some types of music that, like, when I was in musical groups, like, choirs or bands or whatever, and we'd be like, oh, let's include one of these types of songs in the program. I'd be like, come on, guys. Anyway, here's my little ramble that includes Egypt. I just wanted to share it with you today. Get a little bit of gameplay in. Things are degrading so quickly here. We're going to have a little gravity ball action before we end today. Boom! I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And you know what? Treat yourself well. You deserve it, man. If there's nothing else that you take from this and my videos, it is that you deserve self-care, you deserve self-love, and you should love yourself as much as you can. All right, see you in the next one. Bye!